Okay, keep in mind that racists are hacking my phone and changing my voice. So I'm a heterosexual black man in unincorporated Morgan Hill, which is by San Jose, California, not far from San Francisco. And I'm being persecuted by racists and their allies in the government, and it's been like this for quite some time, for many, many years. The simple answer is it's the continuity of government operations that are designed to reinforce the pre-existing social orders, which is, obviously connected to the white power structure. Okay, now sometimes there's kind of token minorities helping them out, what have you. So it's basically white Jews and LGBT people and corporations and social clubs and European quote unquote royal families, what have you, who have this massive network, and they're trying to make sure that people don't look up to people. And my father's a brain surgeon, okay? My mother is a doctor as well. I'm mulatto, and I'm persecuted for my race. I'm persecuted for my romantic appeal, etc. And they've been fuming me and poisoning me. And I'm sure that you all know that there's these operations going on from the organized stalking statistics, 1 million cases a year, and also the Havana syndrome, where hundreds of government personnel were hit by technology, which is related to kind of Cold War activity between America and Russia and so on and so forth. Okay, I'm not on any side of the Cold War activity, sort of Cold War activity rather. We have a kind of Cold War right now going on with Russia and North Korea and China. I'm not on either side. Okay, I'd love to be proud of my country, but nobody's doing anything while I'm persecuted. Okay, and they're being very immature. It also includes sexual harassment at times. A lot of technology is being used here. I'm being fumed every day. Okay, and I have witnesses on record that testify that they're fuming me. I've written the Justice Department, the FBI, the Internal Affairs of the Santa Clara County Sheriff Department, I believe it was. And I got, just one response from all those groups, and it was some kind of superficial, kind of politically correct response. And they're basically saying that, that they're not going to help me, because they basically said, oh, report it to your local authorities, even though I made it clear that they're involved as well. Okay. So if we look at this thing, it's clear that there's a lot of organized racism taking place. I'm pretty sure that whatever event occurred there was highly political, because the person was at City Hall when it occurred, right? And it's also an organized event, that they were stalking them in an organized manner, almost certainly. Okay. Now, the government also has the technology to start fires remotely. I'm pretty sure you all know that, okay? It's not some crazy conspiracy theory, right? It's 2024. Okay, I'd go as far as to say probably in 1994 they probably had that technology, but certainly in 2024 they have that technology. And so I don't think it's a coincidence that the government is assisting the racists who are harassing me all the time here in Morgan Hill, California. Okay, and I've told people, hey, rally to me, help me make my videos, because sometimes it's hard for me to speak because I suffer cognitive impairment as a result of being fumed and poisoned every day. Okay, they have an advanced technique of doing it. It doesn't matter which store I go to. Okay, I can go to like McDonald's or Burger King, and there's like this fume smell that comes out of the windows. It's at times, and it comes from the bag. And there's countless groups that are helping them out. So it's damn near like again the whole country, helping them out, because there's so many gangs and social clubs and corporate groups and political groups and government groups and military groups and police groups. And it's kind of like where in popular culture you see that Black Lives Matter, which is obviously controlled opposition, no offense to anybody, is clashing with law enforcement and their massive support network. So it's a massive support network of white, Jewish, and LGBT supremacists. And I'm sure not every white Jew or LGBT person agrees with them, but that's the situation here. And they're coercing people to help them harass me. Okay. This is absolutely connected to what's going on in San Francisco, no matter how you slice it. Also keep in mind that I have a legal and peaceful top martial artist challenge that I offer up to $100 million now if I'm compensated for what they've done, because they've been doing this for decades to me, really, and it's really been intensified since 2011. Okay, so there's that. And if $60,000 if I'm not, and you pay nothing if you lose, you get $50 to show up. Ask me about that. There's a few more kind of facts surrounding that challenge. And it's an outdoor sparring challenge, not a violent challenge, but sparring shows us, who the top martial artist is, right? Not just doing a kata and having people vote on it, form, not breaking bricks, right? That stuff is, that stuff's shady and fishy, and it really doesn't prove who's the best. So there's that. And you can imagine that because of the particular nature of my religious arguments and my particular interpretation of the Bible in a country that has 20,000 denominations and over 380,000 churches and the most martial arts schools, I might add, it makes the challenge more highly charged. There's a lot of people with their panties in a bunch because of my legal and peaceful outdoor sparring top martial arts challenge that I've made since 2013. Okay, so it's going on 11 years. At the end of this year, it'll be 11 years, to the day, to the month, what have you. So it's clear that people are jealous of me. It's clear that there's what's called a eugenic narrative that they're trying to support, which basically they're trying to argue that their patriarchal genes are superior. That's why there's phallic symbols like obelisks, in places like DC and France and so on and so forth. Okay, because they're trying to argue that their genes are superior. And there's no excuse for that, okay? Because, I'm the son of two doctors, one a brain surgeon, and for all intents and purposes, with universal logic, I'm the top martial artist ever possible, and this has implications on religion that I want to get into in this video, okay? But if you come across those videos, don't be surprised, and keep in mind that I'm someone with a college degree, someone that they were trying to play out as crazy while I was going to college, and I graduated anyway, and I had my top martial arts challenge going at the same time as I graduated college while I was making videos. So I'm doing all this research. I'm researching well enough to graduate college, okay? And, I have this legal and peaceful top martial arts challenge that I was training for, and I've beaten every challenger who accepted it. So my sanity has been proven, and I'm probably certainly logically, the most believable person that ever lived. So when you look at how this all comes together, it's clear that, if you don't believe the son of a brain surgeon who's also humanitarian and won top doctor's awards, who's the top martial artist, okay, over the government, okay, that you're crazy. If that isn't enough for you, you're probably crazy, right? You must be crazy. But if you add the fact that I have 23 witnesses on record, if you don't believe that I'm telling the truth, you're batshit fucking nuts, right? Strangely enough, as I finished that video, okay, I was kind of parked in a way that was, taking up several spaces, which from what I gather you're allowed to do because the parking lot's pretty empty. And this police officer, Morgan Hill PD, drives up real slow, right? And I usually park that way because I'm being fumed in the parking lot, right? And I made a video earlier where there's two people with their doors open and, I'm being fumed, what have you, and I record it, right? And there's a lot of people driving by with one headlight, which is something that dozens, if not hundreds of people have reported is occurring, where people are being targeted by the government and their allies, and there's these people with one headlight to get them to kind of argue that people are targeting them, which can be seen as a sign of mental illness. And quite often, they get at their family members to kind of co-sign with them. And some of these people are like me, college graduates, educated people, very insightful people, smarter than average. It's not a coincidence when people who tend to be smarter than average, who tend to be more logical and more fair-minded, are complaining about being harassed in a society full of narcissists and gang members and corporate psychopaths and control freak police officers and military personnel and on and on and on, rockers and on and on, bikers. There's all kinds of people in this society that are best described as unsavory characters, no offense to anybody, but that's the situation. Okay, so when you see the people who are more decent saying they're being persecuted, it's pretty straightforward what's going on here. I mean, give me a break. And lastly, there seems to be people who are trying to capitalize on the conflict with the police. I don't think people should, unnecessarily argue with the police or fight with them or harm them or whatever. Okay, I'm just telling the facts here and the truth of the situation. I take much pride in being a morally precise person, a man of honor, a man of righteousness and justice and wisdom. Okay, so I'm going to stay on the right side of God. I don't care about what the law is. I don't respect the law. You know, it used to be legal to, you know, own slaves and so on and so forth. There's all kinds of unsavory laws. The rich don't pay their taxes, and as a result, it causes poor people all kinds of hardship. They don't have the basic decency to pull the strings they pull in the government to house the homeless and to build rehabs and pass vice taxes to build rehabs, right? They, you know, wealth taxes. They don't do these things. So how can you expect me to respect the governing class and the laws that they're almost entirely responsible for when they're behaving in such an immature and evil and petty manner? I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right?